Okay, today I am going to do a rant on a tragic subject that if you're a fan of the series Final Fantasy, you need to know about. I am going to talk about Final Fantasy House. Now, it's a tragic story. At some point in the 90s, some young guy in America was in college. He was a little inebriated, and he was in a chat room or something. He starts talking to a woman. Comes out they're both fans of the game Final Fantasy VII. Then she says, do you believe in past lives? And the guy's a bit drunk, and he says, well, yeah, it could be possible. And then she says, well, just consider the idea that in other dimensions, video games are really, happening in the realities, and that you can be reincarnations of these video game characters. The guy's a little drunk. He goes, not the most retarded thing I've ever heard. And then she tells him the terrifying secret that, well, in another dimension, Final Fantasy VII really happened, and he was the reincarnation of Zack. The masculine mercenary who's a big character, and, well, the next thing this poor guy knows is he's a member of a cult called Final Fantasy VII House. It is run by two lesbian women. One is the monster goddess Jehovah, and the other one's the frail scientist. I forget his name, it starts with an H, but he's male, but the other lesbians, Hojo! His name's Hojo. And, well, this cult got this poor bastard to believe that he was the reincarnation of Zack, the masculine mercenary, and, well, this cult's fantastic. Now, if a black guy was fortunate enough to join this cult, guess he wouldn't have much say. He would have to be Barrett, the revolutionary with a daughter and a missing hand that's been replaced with a Gatling gun. There's this guy in the story. He was the only guy likable who knew this was crazy as shit. Like, Final Fantasy House is hilarious. Like I was saying, this guy that thinks he's Zack is the only one who can keep his shit. Sorry, I kind of zoned out there because I'm trying to play this game competently. But the guy, if you know anything about Final Fantasy, there's a character called Zack, or Sid. He's always the most likable character in those games. Of course, the guy in this cult was the only guy who's sane and keeping his shit and feels sympathy for these poor brainwashed cult members. Well, of course the likable guy in this cult is Sid, so that's pretty much set in stone. But, avoid Final Fantasy VIII House. That house is shit, Like, Final Fantasy series is great, but if there are cults, that brainwash their, followers believing they're, the reincarnation of, video games you like, is there a Pac-Man house? Is there a Pac-Man cult out there somewhere where, all the cult members are dressed up as ghosts, you know, and the husband and wife who run the cult are dressed up as Mr. and Mrs. Pac-Man, and the cult members are ghosts, chase them through a mansion while the husband and wife are like eating, Cocoa Puffs that are on the ground, but if they get a gumball, then they start chasing the ghost for 5 seconds. Is that how cults work? Like this is in bad taste, but a joke on the Jim Jones. Jim Jones, that cult in the 70s, Jonestown, like his cult members knew the government was onto them. They couldn't get home because Jim Jones, is ruling over them and somewhere in South America. But the cult, is about to be saved by the government, But Jim Jones, tells them we gotta commit suicide, so they put, like arsenic or some poison in Kool-Aid. All the cult members take it. And then, government agents get there after. They get to Jonestown, they follow the dead people, and the agents go, oh no. Then the Kool-Aid man bursts through a wall, says, oh yeah. Then he sees all the dead cult members and he goes, oh sorry, this is in bad taste. Like Final Fantasy House is hilarious. This poor asshole's only crime is being drunk and knowing what Final Fantasy VII is. He gets roped to a cult and he's the masculine mercenary Zack, and he's the one who has to get a job and support the cult members, and the lesbians running it, and and Sid's the only guy who's sane, but he's Sid, he's the one who has to be likable to the audience. Like, cults based on video games. Is there a Donkey Kong cult out there somewhere where the cult leader is dressed up as a gorilla? And like members of the cult have to run through a mansion, and the cult leader's at the top of the stairs throwing barrels down at, the cult members as they try to run up the stairs, as the cult leader throws barrels down at them, and there's another cult member called, she's brainwashed in believing she's Pauline, and the cult members as they jump over the barrels think they saved Pauline from the cult leader, but then he takes Pauline away, and is that how desperate cults are getting these days? Is there a Frogger house? Is there a Super Mario houses? I love video games, but I would never join a Final Fantasy VII house. I might join a Final Fantasy III house, but in Japan it'd be Final Fantasy VI. I might join that cult and they can brainwash me into believing I'm Shadow. I'd have a dog and I'd be the ninja who meanders in and out of the plot, and is that how, is that how desperate cults are, a cult's based on video games, and, well, I guess I'll just finish with there's a Final Fantasy VI house out there somewhere. If you let me be Shadow, I'll be right there.